with people and drugs flowing freely across the border, Florida's GOP Governor Ron DeSantis is taking action. He plans to start busing illegal aliens who arrive in Florida north to Delaware. It's no coincidence that Delaware just happens to be President Biden's home state and where he spends a lot of time vacationing.
Correspondent Rich Thomason says DeSantis is joining his counterparts in Texas and Arizona who've been busing migrants to points north. Croatian authorities say a passenger train and freight train collided Friday night in central Croatia. At least 3 people have been killed and 11 injured. Police say the collision happened near the town of Novska, close to Croatia's border with Bosnia. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
As an organ donor, your story doesn't have to end. The good in you can live on. In fact, you could save up to 8 lives and restore sight and health for many more. Sign up right now online as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. You'll be happy you did. Just maybe someone else will be happy too. Go to organdonor.gov. It saves lives. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
Ooh, I like when you press that one.
This is the Founders Federal High School Football Scoreboard on the Sports Talk Media Network. Coming up, scores and reports from across the state and analysis from David Shelton. The Scoreboard is brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Now your host for the High School Scoreboard, Phil Kornblut.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome into the High School Football Scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union on this Friday night from here in Arkansas to cover South Carolina, Arkansas tomorrow. But we don't care about scores here in Arkansas or scores in Oklahoma as I drove through Oklahoma this afternoon. No. We want scores from South Carolina, where in the low country, I think we've had some rain, maybe some rain moving through the entire state. Supposed to be kind of a dicey weather day tomorrow. I think maybe kind of a dicey weather day across the state tonight. Hopefully, most of the games, if not all, were played and not impacted by the weather. David Shelton will be joining us in a few minutes once he finishes up his work with his game in the low country to offer up analysis and break down the winners and losers tonight across the state. We'll get plenty of reports on for you as well from folks who've been out watching games tonight, and maybe dial up a coach or two as we move on through the evening. We have JP Barry back at our studios in Columbia doing a great job flying solo tonight, running the ship back in Columbia. So great to have JP in the position back there in the studios. And let's get to the scores that we have in at this point as we're in the process of posting scores to our score sheets. And let's start with the Upstate Finals that we have posted. Wade Hampton beat Berea 56-0. Hillcrest shuts out Boiling Springs 48-0. Indian Land shuts out Fort Mill 34-0. Come on, people, we need some points on the other side. Powdersville beat Pendleton. Powdersville, boy, strong once again. Powdersville 49, Pendleton 10. Walhalla beat Southside tonight 50-25. Around the Midlands, it was Whitmire topping Eau Claire 34-24. In the PD, Grand Strand, Ainer with a solid win 54-28 over Lakewood. Andrews tops Hannah Pamplico 32-12. To the Low Country, Dutch Fork rolled its machine down into the Charleston area and whooped up on Stratford 64-21, that final score. In Skeeza, Northside Christian over New Hope 21-0. Now we'll just give you some scores that are coming in hit and miss from all parts of the state. SC Sports Source does a great job of aggregating the scores, so we roll with what they post on their Twitter, and is from the different areas of the state. So St. James, a winner over Lake City, 20-17. 13. River Bluff down South Aiken 35-28. South Point continues to roll along 33-21 over Chester. Florence Christian downs Orangeburg Prep 41-19. It was King Street knocking off Green Sea Floyd's tonight 32-8. Saluda down Emerald 21-14. Lee Academy big over Dillon Christian 63-24. How about this one? And we'll have more because Billy Baker was at this game. Westside coming off their big win over TL Hanna last week, beats Abbeville and beats them. Well, it was not a blowout, but it was double-figure point differential. The Rams 31, the Panthers 20. That's 2 losses on the season for Abbeville. And Westside picks up its second win after a season-opening loss, 31-20. Westside over Abbeville. Billy Baker was at that game, and he'll be joining us here in just a little bit. Let's see, what else do we have in here? We have got Indian Land over Fort Mill. I might be repeating myself here, so bear with me. Indian Land over Fort Mill, 34-0. And we've got told you that one, gave you that one. Oh, Dillon and Hartsville. What a ball game this one was. A couple of undefeated teams. This is, of course, a bitter rival, Dillon and Hartsville. And, Dillon's got a young quarterback by the name of Oxendine, who's in the 2026 class, who is starting to get some major recruiting attention. He was at South Carolina's game last weekend. He's going to Virginia Tech tomorrow. He must have had a big night because Dillon put a lot of points on the board against a really good Hartsville team, 59-35, the final score. West Florence beat Dreher 47-7. Heathwood Hall over Porter-Gaud 30-14. PD Academy defeats Conway. Let me say it again. PD Academy defeats Conway Christian 48-14. I sounded like Daffy Duck there for a minute, JP. Conway Christian. 48-14. PD Academy over Conway Christian. Lake Marion 27, Manning 13. Wilson beat Hilton Head 43-7. Hanahan downs Lucy Beckham 10-6. Clennon continues to play excellent football. Red Devils win again, 49-13 over Aiken. Estill shuts out Edisto, 28-0. Calhoun Academy, 22. Patrick Henry, 8. Sherraw edges Darlington, 7-6. Whitmire tops Eau Claire, 34-24. Northside Christian over New Hope, 21-0. It was Walhalla over Southside Christian, 50-25. South Florence 49, Carolina Forest 14. Hilton Head Christian 15, Ben Lippen 9. Marion takes it to Hemingway 62-0 tonight. And let's see, what else do we have for you as far as some final scores. We've got Ware Shoals. This was from last night. Ware Shoals beat West Oak 30-0. Also last night, North Charleston beat Stall 20-14. And I think that is Wade Hampton of Hampton beat Estill. No, sorry. That was a week old. So that's it for the scores now. Let me do a quick double check and see if anything else has come in since we were going over all those scores. Northwestern continues to play dominating football. They beat Nation Ford tonight, 61-22. Myrtle Beach put a big number on Socastee, 58-21. Easily down J.O. Mann, 21-14. Greenwood beat North Augusta, 21-14. Clover over York, 28-24. Andrew Jackson topped Lamar, 26-14. St. James over Lake City, 20-13. I think we've given you this. River Bluff over South Aiken, 35-28. So I think we are up to date on all of that. So let's go. We have a hot call. And JP, when we have a hot call, that means Billy Baker is on the line with a winning coach. So we have to go directly to him. So without further delay, let's go to Billy Baker, who was at the West Side Abbeville game tonight up in Anderson.
Hartsville, Dillon.
Oh, you changed on me.
I texted you and told you that Coach Nichols was going for his 10th win tonight against Westside. I'm at Kellytown in Hartsville.
Oh, gotcha. So you went to
Bill?
Hartsville and Dillon. That's just as good. Go ahead, Billy. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go right ahead.
Coach Roller's about to get on the bus. Dillon wins a 59-35 game after trailing 21-8 at the half. In all the years I've been out here involved with high school football, if you'd have told me at halftime that Dillon was going to do what they did, basically what they decided to do, Chris McCollum, number 5, comes in the game, a beast defensive lineman who's an outstanding fullback, running behind the lead of 74, the junior All-American, had 20 pancakes tonight. Dillon literally steamrolled the Red Foxes on their home field. 59-35 is your final score. And I'll let Kevin Roller tell you this was a two-tail half, and Dillon came out and played outstanding. And here's Coach Roller literally about to get on the bus for Dillon.
All right. Won't hold him up too long. Waiting on Coach. He'll be with us in a second. Coach, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, man, congratulations. That's a fantastic win to go on the road and do what you did tonight. Billy gave us some of the details. What's your takeaway from your performance tonight?
I'm just extremely happy, and excited for our kids. This is, both football programs are rich in tradition, and we knew this would be a tough match for us, and our kids got really ready to play, and some momentum kind of snowballed there in the second half, and this game can be like that sometimes when you get momentum, and that's what happened for us in the second half. We felt like we left some plays out there in the first half, but scoring right before the half kind of kept us from hanging our heads a little bit.
Was it that fine young quarterback of yours, Oxendine, who sparked that momentum in the second half?
Well, he's going to be an excellent player. I mean, but we try to manage some things with him. Our offensive line and our defensive front's the strength of our football team, and we used those guys, and our backs ran the ball extremely well tonight. But I can't brag enough about the way our offensive front played tonight. They played excellent. So they just took control of the line of scrimmage, and so just proud of them.
What percentage of your running plays would you say you go behind your big right tackle Thompson?
I'll be honest with you. We don't really have a percentage. We try to take what the defense gives us up front, and all those other guys, they may not be getting the notoriety or the attention that Josiah gets, but those other guys have been 3-year starters for us up front with Peyton Small at right tackle and some other guys there at guard. But I'm just proud of them. Not many people have been in this stadium at Kellytown and kind of pretty much took control of the football game like we did tonight against Hartsville. I'm just proud of them for that.
Okay, yes, sir. And defensively, Coach Calabrese's offense is really hard to keep in check. Do you feel like you guys did a pretty good job of that, despite giving up 20-plus points? Do you feel like you did a pretty good job of that?
We did. We didn't stop them at all in the first half, but other than the second half drive, our defense played well as you could expect. Playing against the Calabrese offense, they're used to scoring a lot of points, and they did. But just proud of our guys for coming out in the second half and pretty much stuffing them like they did.
Now, Oxendine informed me he's going to visit Virginia Tech tomorrow. Is Thompson going anywhere to see a game tomorrow?
I'm not sure. I don't know if he's going anywhere or not. I haven't really spoken with him about that.
I understand you're focused on the Wildcats. I get that. Congratulations. A great win for your program tonight to go into Hartsville. A really good Hartsville team, and do that is impressive. Thank you. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Phil, and thank y'all for what y'all do for high school football.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you very much. All right. Coach Kevin Roller from Dillon High School, who I believe, if my memory is right, once coached at Hartsville. That's a terrific win for Dillon tonight, going in and beating Hartsville the way they did there at Kellytown Stadium. Thank you, Billy Baker, for getting to us. Urgent call. Hot call, we like to call it when Billy's on the field with the coach. All right, we'll come back and give you more scores after the break. Also hear from more folks who are out covering games tonight. Let me tell you, Lake Marion has beaten Manning 27-13. That was the first game for Montague Rames, the Gamecock commitment defensive end who transferred to Manning from Sumter High School. And Belton Honeypath is leading Woodruff late, about 2 minutes to go, 34-27, the score in that one. All right, we'll hit the break here, JP, and then we'll continue with more scores on the other side. We'll take more calls as well. If you are at a ball game and you want to give us a quick call to share some thoughts on the game you watched, feel free to join us. 888-898-2525 is the number. And we'll be back on the High School Scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Back in a moment.
Parents ask, what's the best way to save for college? I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus, and my answer is always open a Future Scholar 529 college savings account. It's easy. You can get started online with any amount. It's flexible to adapt to your child's college dreams. And you can deduct 100% of your contributions from the South Carolina state tax return. So what are you waiting for? Go to futurescholar.com and see why it's the smart, easy way to save for college. futurescholar.com.
Score a touchdown with Founders Federal Credit Union. With services like Founders Online and the Founders app, you'll enjoy all the perks of a big bank with local personalized service. Not a member? Joining Founders Federal Credit Union is easy. Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our 37 convenient locations to see if you qualify for membership. Relax with Founders. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
If an insurance company is there to sell you insurance, shouldn't it also be there to service it with real people? At Farm Bureau Insurance, we're here to help with experienced agents ready to provide personal service when you need it most. Call today for your free no-obligation review for auto, home, and life insurance that's custom-tailored just for you.
Whether it's home, auto, or life insurance, Buddy Bridges and Farm Bureau Insurance have the right policy for you. Call Buddy today in Lawrence County at 864-923-2174.
South Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Southern Farm Bureau Casualty Insurance Company, Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi.
Back on the High School Football Scoreboard across the state on the Sports Talk Media Network. Good to have you with us. Thanks to all the stations who are with us. Thanks to all of you, you high school crazy fans out there who love high school football. Thanks for being with us and driving what we do here on a Friday night. And it's great to have you tuned in, and I hope you've enjoyed the high school football tonight across the state. Before we get back to scores, let's go down to our man Sam down in Charleston, and Sam was at the Bishop England James Island game tonight. And James Island in particular having an excellent year. Sam, how'd that game go?
It went really well. We did incredible job. I just want you to know we have a score alert. Can I tell you that?
Go right ahead.
It's now. Let me check the score. Hang on just a second. It's 23-0 in the third quarter. And I think the Bishops will lose this game tonight. It's like 1-3. So if you
I think the Trojans have already won. I think it's gone final 23-0 James Island over Bishop England.
And just a heads up, you may check and see our record is because I'm not really sure. So you need to talk to Coach King about that.
We'll double check that for you.
All right, I really appreciate it. Have a good night.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate the phone call. Sam, a regular caller on Sports Talk. It's gone final in the Upstate. Belton Honeypath beat Woodruff tonight, 34-27. BHP's having a good year. They get overlooked a lot up there, I think. You know, we get so caught up in West Side and TL Hanna. They're having a good year. They beat West Side to open the season, as I recall. So that's a good win for the Bears, 34-27 a win tonight, and that was at the Varner Stadium in Woodruff. And thank you, Bob Cordlew, for our affiliate up there, WQUL, covering Spartanburg and all that area towards the border of North Carolina for us. And the good win tonight for Belton Honeypath, 34-27 over Woodruff. Let's give you some more final scores that maybe we have not gotten to. David Shelton will be hooking up with us in a little bit. So we've got Ridgeview over Spring Valley. And, you know, my man Rich Taylor texted me. He does the PA for Spring Valley at Harry Perone Stadium. Well, this game was called with 11 minutes to play in the third, with Ridgeview leading 27-0. And, you know, all I've got is from Rich is that it turned into chaos. So I'm hoping, Rich, that he'll call in and tell us what happened. Something turned into chaos. So I hope it was, well, I mean, I hope it wasn't something in the stands that resulted, you know, in police officials having to storm in. And I hope it wasn't bad sportsmanship among the players. You know, we don't need any more of that. We've already had too many episodes of that this season, as early as the season has been. So hopefully Rich will call us and share with us what the chaos was. But Ridgeview beat Spring Valley 27-0. Conway over North Myrtle Beach, 33-13. So the Tigers have beaten Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach this season. Woodmont topped Travelers Rest, 49-29. Swansea over Wagner Sally by a score of 34-30. As we mentioned, Chapin down Newberry. Final score there was 38-0. All right, we go back to okay. We go back to our guys out in the fields, and Bruce McNeil. Bruce, new to South Carolina, joining us here on the program to give us a story on Sumter High School tonight. Bruce, how are you?
I'm doing great. Hopefully the guy with the blower isn't going to blow us away here. I'm just finishing up in the press box
let me
while
tell
we
you,
have a parking lot.
We joke all the time about when we're up at Clemson, how when we're doing post-game interviews, like, in South Carolina, baseball interviews, and they're mowing the grass behind you, they're blowing off the baseline. So we're used to having that in the background, so don't worry about it.
Well, we had a doozy tonight. We thought we might. Sumter ends up staying undefeated, winning against Crestwood. It's a county rival. They're big and middle-sized schools, but Sumter 21-14 over Crestwood. Really a game that I thought would have a lot more firepower, and defense was really writing the story. The headline, though, is Zaire Gamble. He did it again tonight. He has had big play after big play in every game tonight. Taking the kickoff to open the second quarter, 98 yards for a touchdown, and that made it 14-0 at the time. Sumter had scored its first touchdown late in the second quarter. It was the kick that opened the third quarter that Gamble returned the distance, and that really set the tone. He has now had a punt return for a touchdown this year, a kick return for a touchdown, and an interception return for a touchdown. So the Appalachian State commit is showing why he's headed that way. And he also had a 5-yard run out of the Wildcat in the middle of the third quarter, and that pushed the lead to 21-0. He now has 6 touchdowns on the season for Sumter. The defense really was a story as it stymied the high vaunted offense that the Crestwood Knights have had. Their quarterback, Javian Martin, last week threw for over 400 yards. Tonight, limited to about 203, roughly 14 out of 29 unofficially for a couple of touchdowns. They came to his tight end, Anthony Steele, with time expiring in the third quarter on a 19-yard play. And then Dominic West on a 13-yard hookup with 2:09 to go. They got him within a touchdown, but Sumter recovered the onside kick and just ran out the clock. Their top ground game, and really that's where they made their hay tonight, 297 yards on the ground on 33 team attempts. The leader was Cam Fortune, 149 yards on 11 carries rather. He had a long of 46 and a 35-yard touchdown. John Peoples returned to the lineup, the sophomore. They're both sophomores. He had 80 yards on 11 carries. Gamble had 36 out of the Wildcat on about 4 carries. And then they featured Amarian Smith as a slot back with some inside counters and reverses, and he had 35 yards on 4. So about 324 total offense for Sumter, and roughly about 277 unofficially for Crestwood. They've got a good team. They just didn't have enough defense to handle the run and couldn't really do much of their own running tonight. I think collectively I had them for 72 yards on 28 attempts. Martin had 48 of those on his own, and most of that coming in the second half. But an entertaining game. I mean, it was within 1 score at the end, and the onside kick could have gone any way. There were a couple of late fumbles on 2 possessions by Sumter, and one of those did lead to points, and that's what made it a 7-point game. But their defense and strength on the ground really won it for them.
Hey, Bruce, great job, man. We appreciate it. Thank you for calling us tonight and calling us every night to update us on the Sumter Gamecocks are having another great year, and that defense sounds strong once again. We'll hear from you again next week. Thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you, guys. You do a great job.
Thank you. Oh, you too. Thank you. Bruce McNeil, the new voice of Sumter High Gamecocks, coming in from, I think he told us from Wisconsin. But he does a great job. Got a great voice and delivery. We appreciate him calling us and giving us those reports. When we come back, we'll go back through the scores for you and get some more reports for you and have some more surprises for you here on the High School Scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union.
At the time of Lewis and Clark's historic journey, North America's grizzly bear population may have numbered 100,000. But as the West was tamed, grizzlies were killed relentlessly, and much of their habitat was lost to development. Today, only about 1,600 grizzlies remain in the lower 48 states, and they are fighting for survival. The Vital Ground Foundation is a non-profit organization working to ensure the future of grizzly bears through the protection and restoration of crucial wildlife habitat. Vital Ground's dedication to conserving grizzly habitat goes well beyond saving a single species. When the land is wild enough for the grizzly, all other animals and plants in the ecosystem, including ourselves, benefit as well. It is said, where the grizzly can walk, the earth is healthy and whole. I'm Chris Morgan, bear ecologist and host of the PBS Nature series, Bears of the Last Frontier. To learn how you can help, please visit vitalground.org. That's vitalground.org.
With SRN News, I'm Tasha Stevens, speaking with the United Kingdom's Prime Minister Liz Truss Friday. King Charles said the death of Queen Elizabeth was the moment he and many others had been dreading. The Queen passed away Thursday after more than 7 decades on the throne. The Queen will be laid to rest next to her late husband, Prince Philip, in the King George VI Memorial Chapel at Windsor. Prince Philip died in April of 2021. He was 99. They were married for 73 years. Tesla's working on building a lithium refinery in Texas. Reportedly, the company submitted an application to the Texas Comptroller's Office for tax breaks to build a battery-grade lithium hydroxide refining facility. If approved, construction on the plant would begin later in the year. According to the application, the refinery would be the first of its kind in North America. Inflation rates keep going up. They say they could make it to 4%. This is SRN News.
I've been talking about the people at Stone Interiors from the very beginning. They did the incredible granite counters, the beautiful granite tabletop in my home. Our kitchen is our focal point of our house. The countertops are just gorgeous. When I talk about a local company with tremendous ethics, great workmanship, someone who sees the project through from start to finish, I'm describing Stone Interiors. So have you thought about some granite or marble countertops? What about a backsplash in your kitchen? You want to retile that bathroom? Did you know you can actually go online to stoneinteriors.com, go through their visualizer software, and design your whole kitchen, your whole bathroom project? It is so cool. If that's not for you and you want to visit their showroom, they'd love to have you come out and visit at Stone Interiors, or they can even come to you when it's convenient. For more than 20 years, Stone Interiors has done this thing the right way. Call them, 461-8950 to make an appointment, or visit them at stoneinteriors.com. That's 461-8950 or stoneinteriors.com.
Have you fallen behind on your taxes and might be facing IRS penalties? Have wage garnishments, levies, or liens? Have unfiled tax returns? You want someone local and qualified. Don't fall for those national spots. Meet with me, Teresa, at Capital City Professional Services, and let me help you through your tax maze. I can help with all your tax resolution issues. There are options to get you back on track. Call Capital City Professional Services, 400-8683. That's 400-8683.
Fran Halloran here. Now listen closely to what I'm about to say. I'm a business owner, and many of you listening right now, you're business owners as well. The first rule in owning a business is this: don't waste money. I see business owners waste their marketing dollars all the time. Not me. I figured out a long time ago, 8 years ago to be exact, that spending my marketing dollars at the point was not only intentional, but extremely profitable as well. If you're a small business owner, you owe it to yourself to sit down with Kevin Cohen and ask him to create a custom marketing plan for your business. He's looking for folks just like you who believe in local, to partner with him in 2022 and beyond. Trust me when I tell you, partnering with The Point works. You will see results and your marketing budget will no longer be wasted. Give Kev a call at 803-563-8558 and tell him the Money Coach sent you.
There's hundreds of fun and simple things you and your family can do to live a healthier lifestyle. Here's 20 of them. Walk to work, walk the dog, have the dog walk you, take a hike, take a bike, skate, dance, hop, jump, do the Humpty Hump, skip seconds, skip dessert, skip to my lube, don't skip breakfast, drink H2O, lower your sodium, raise the roof, shake your booty, stock up on vegetables, and don't forget to eat them. Search We Can online to find more ways you and your family can get healthy together. A message from the Ad Council, HHS, and NIH's We Can program.
Welcome back, everybody. High School Scoreboard. Brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Let's bring in David Shelton, who's now with us after his duties down there. We'll get David on in just a moment to comment on about what I'm about to say. I got some of the details on what happened at the Spring Valley Ridgeview game tonight. And again, that game was stopped in the third quarter with Ridgeview leading 27-0. They called the game. What happened was, this did not involve the players on the field, but once again, a fracas broke out in the grandstands on the Spring Valley side over there, I guess the home side. Some kind of a fracas broke out, and from what I'm told, it got very, very heated, and the players just took off running for their respective locker rooms. Police were there. Obviously, sheriff's deputies, Richland County Sheriff deputies, they staff these games and got involved. Police got involved. I'm told no shots were fired or anything like that, but there was some major, when I say major, I'm not talking about a swarm. I'm talking about the action of the police officers who were there. They got very involved here. I don't want to really, not having seen it, I don't want to exactly say, what was done. Let's just say that the police officers got actively involved in trying to restrain one individual who they had a hard time restraining. And this caused complete, from what I'm told, it caused chaos. People were scared. They didn't know what was going to happen. We've seen this over and over again. And the players just took off, I'm told, running down the sideline for their locker rooms to get out of any harm's way. Fortunately, nothing extreme happened that I'm told. But that's why that game was called in the third quarter, David. This wasn't an issue of players or coaches or anything like that. This was another case of something breaking out among the fans. And what are we going to do?
No more fans. We're going to play football. We're going to let the two teams play. We're going to let the bands and the cheerleaders come and save your $7 and sit your butt in the parking lot.
Yeah. You think it's going to come to that?
I mean, in some of these games, you're going to have to. I mean, this is getting to be a weekly occurrence. I mean, this is not, just something that happens once every 10 years. It seems like every week we're talking about a disturbance, something happened, whether it's a fracas on the field, but normally it's not on the field. Normally it's in the parking lot or in the stands or wherever. So, that's just what you're just going to have to figure out a way to figure it out.
Yeah, it's just disappointing. You're right. It's just disappointing to hear I don't know how many different incidences we've had of this already this year, but I mean, one's too many, but we've had several. And, you know, we've had some cases where it involved poor sportsmanship on the field, but we're seeing more and more of this stuff in the stands. And you're right. Maybe they just need to play in front of family and friends and leave everybody else at home.
That's what I would do. You know, I'm up in the press box and I'm safe, and you know, I hear things happening down wherever, but you know, something bad's going to happen one day, and we're all going to be wondering why it happened and what we could have done, and we're not going to have an answer.
All right, let's see. Barnwell beat Orangeburg Wilkinson tonight. Final score of 33-20. Thank you, Mason, for calling that score in. Let's go to the story on T.L. Hanna tonight. Kevin Selman on the line with us, the voice of the Yellow Jackets, and they, of course, trying to bounce back from that loss last week to Westside. No shame in that because Westside beat Abbeville. Westside's obviously pretty doggone good, Kevin. How'd it go for T.L. Hanna tonight?
Well, thanks, Bill. Thanks for having me on. Good to see you Monday night in Atlanta. And I'm pleased to report that tonight from Piedmont, South Carolina, home of the Wren Hurricanes, that we had a well-behaved crowd. It was a great night of football. I tell you, the folks got to see one heck of a game and a battle that just went back and forth all night long. At the end of the night, T.L. Hanna was able to hold on for the win, 38-28 over Jeff Tate and the Wren Hurricanes. So a big bounce-back week for the T.L. Hanna Yellow Jackets.
Did they just run it really well, and how they do against the Wren passing attack?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned the Wren passing attack. Wren had some success on the ground tonight. T.L. Hanna transfer, number 7 Trayvon West, who's a commit to the University of Indiana, had a big night for the Hurricanes running the football. They had a little bit of success passing the football when they got in a hurry up, but for the most part, it was a Wren run game tonight that kept them in the game. And Hanna, as you well know, we run the wing tee. We call it phone booth football. Big night on the ground for the Yellow Jackets. Had a couple of maybe close to 300 yards rushing. The big star for night for the Jackets was Sashim Latimer, our fullback, who had 11 carries for 141 yards. We had 3 different Yellow Jackets score touchdowns tonight. Our quarterback, Kenny Fretwell, our senior quarterback, he was 3 of 4 passes for 45 yards and a big touchdown pass. The story of the game was the Hanna defense in the second half. We were trailing 21-16 at half. The third week in a row we trailed at half. They made some adjustments to come out in the second half to really slow down the Wren game, the run game, just really take over the second half. Yellow Jackets also had 203 yards in kickoff returns. Jalen Bowles had about an 80-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. So it was quite an entertaining game tonight against the Hurricanes. And, you know, they fall to 0-3 on the year. Tough loss to a powerhouse team from Georgia. They lost last week to Seneca, who is a formidable foe themselves. And then tonight, you know, Hanna comes away with a 38-28 win at Wren. So good night for the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, I was going to say, good bounce-back win. Who do you have next week?
So our bumper music on our show tonight, on our broadcast, was the Road Warriors, or On the Road Again by Whitta Nelson. We're on the road for 4 straight weeks. Last week was our home game with Hanna. We are at Wren tonight. We're at Greenwood next week, at Lawrence the following week, and at Malden the week after that. So 4 straight weeks on the road for the Yellow Jackets.
Was that by design, or just they couldn't schedule it any other way?
Well, I'll tell you, you know, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. We play phone booth football, and a lot of people don't want to play that because it gives them a lot of problems. So we have a hard time finding opponents to play. Tonight or this year, you know, we only are able to get 4 home games and 6 on the road. Now that will benefit us next year as we'll have 6 home games. But I know it sounds odd, but we have a hard time finding people to play us, and that's why we have 6 road games this year. So It is what it is.
Kevin, thank you, man. I know you'll be standing in the rain at Clemson tomorrow, so enjoy yourself.
I'll be there tomorrow. Maybe I'll see you there.
No, sir, I'm in Arkansas.
Oh, Arkansas. We'll have. Oh, you're in Arkansas now. Okay. Well, safe travels home, and I appreciate you taking my call tonight, Phil. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Always, big guy. Good hearing from you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
See you.
All right. Good bounce-back win for T.L. Hanna there, David. They were stunned last week by a Westside team that apparently is coming on strong, but they go get a nice road win tonight, and like he said, they're going to be the Road Warriors here for the next few weeks. Did we lose David? Okay, well, hang on. Oop, think we did. Let's take that down, JP. Let's take down the phone call that we got ringing on the air there. And let's see, is that David?
That's David.
We got him back. Okay. You didn't hear me, but I was just saying that that was a great bounce back win for Hannah after losing that game to Westside. And now, as Kevin said, they're road warriors. They got 3 more road games coming up before they return home.
Yeah, this was a good win for Hannah because they got destroyed last week by Westside. And you know, I mean, it's a game that doesn't count. I mean, it counts in the win column, but it's not a make or break game. But they just got to get their stuff together, and it appears they got it together tonight.
All right, let's go to Garrett Mitchell, who took in the Woodruff game tonight, Woodruff and Belton Honeypath. This was a good one, and it turned out to be a good win for the Bears going into Woodruff and winning 34-27. Garrett, did it go down to the end, or did BHP have to hold on at the end? How did that play out?
Well, Phil, first of all, you and David, good to be back with you tonight. Didn't quite get a chance to call in the last 2 weeks, so it's good to be back. And
yes,
it was quite a ball game. This was a game it looked like BHP was pulling away late in the third quarter, early in the fourth, and Woodruff mounted a furious comeback in the fourth quarter. Belton Honeypath took the ball. They scored first. Woodruff evened it up 7 apiece and then took the lead early in the second quarter, 14-7. And then Belton Honeypath rattled off the next 27 points in a row, I believe. And it was a 34-13 BHP lead. And here comes Woodruff. It's a team that doesn't give up. They were shorthanded tonight. The Wolverines are down 3 key defensive starters. And Woodruff just fought and clawed their way back. A touchdown with about 8 minutes to play, trimmed the lead. Then they got a stop, came down and scored again. And all of a sudden, Phil, it's a 34-27 ball game. Belton Honeypath put together a nice drive and forged deep into Woodruff territory. But after a penalty and a sack, the Woodruff defense stuffed the Bears on the 23-yard line with 1:13 to play. Woodruff had no timeouts. But the Wolverines began to drive and made it to midfield and just slightly into Bears territory. And they finally stalled out a couple of big defensive stops for Belton Honeypath, and they took over with 33 seconds to play. But, I think playing shorthanded, Woodruff showed a lot of heart tonight. And this is a very, very good Belton Honeypath team. You talk about a squad that beat Westside on the road. Westside had a really big win at Abbeville tonight. So Belton Honeypath will give a lot of teams a lot of trouble, and I think the Wolverines acquitted themselves quite well.
They certainly did. And thanks for the report, Garrett. We'll hear from you next week. So, David, I mentioned this earlier, too, about BHP. We don't, I guess, say enough about them or give them enough credit because they beat Westside. We see how good Westside is. Now they go into Woodruff. They win that ball game. What do you like about BHP?
Well, the one thing is they're very tough, hard-nosed, well-coached, physical on defense. They gave up some points tonight, but they're always going to normally play really good defense. And I know last year was like their first losing season in like 10 or 12 years, but they're not going to be down long. They're one of those traditional in-state powers that they just get it done. I mean, they find a way to rebuild, and obviously they beat 2 pretty good teams.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Shows what they can do. All right, thanks for that report, Garrett. Appreciate it very much. We go to the break, and then Lane Harris will join us to tell us about the Myrtle Beach win tonight. We'll tell you West Ashley beat Berkeley 26-0. Oh, Mallard Creek of North Carolina downs Gaffney 20-13. Oh, Gray Collegiate beats Camden 22-7. Burns downs Greer 23-14. Lexington over Blythewood 35-14. Daniel over Hart County, Georgia 38-17. Back in a moment. We're with Major Billy Downer of DNR Major. It's always a good time for folks to remember to get those licenses renewed.
Doesn't matter what time of the year, it's always a season in, whether it's fishing or hunting. Make sure you check your licenses, make sure they're up to date. If you need a hunting or fishing license, you may go to www.dnr.sc.gov to purchase your license online or to any local licensed vendor in your local area.
And don't forget to join us for SC Wild from DNR with Major Billy Downer on Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Show your team pride wherever you go with Founders Federal Credit Union's collegiate debit cards. Get your University of South Carolina and Clemson University debit cards at any Founders office or by calling 1-800-845-1614. Plus, our debit cards are digital wallet ready, so you can pay however you please. Not a member? Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our 37 convenient locations to see if you qualify for membership. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. Whether you're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at experiencecolumbiasc.com.
We're back on the high school football scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union across the state of South Carolina. South Carolina's only statewide high school football scoreboard that cares about every single score in the state of South Carolina is important to us. And we'll get David's take on some of those scores I just gave you in a moment. But as I mentioned, Lane Harris standing by on the call tonight, Myrtle Beach beating Socastee and putting up some pretty big offense tonight. Lane, good to have you with us.
Hey, glad to be here, Cohen.
It looks like you won the
passes.
game, but you lost. You won the game, but you lost the bet.
Yeah, the winner of the game had to call you, and that's me.
Right, between you and Bergie, the winner of the game
That's
had
right.
to call into the show. So you won the game, but you lost the bet. Go ahead, sir.
It was an exciting one. Just ask me how many touchdown passes we threw.
Lane, how many touchdown passes did the Seahawks throw?
One.
Oh,
It is a new day for Myrtle Beach
That's
high school
shocking.
football. It is.
Yeah.
It was a rough night tonight. A lot of rain on the field, a lot of bad conditions. So we only completed 5 passes. The one touchdown pass we threw was to Jake Doty, Luke's younger brother, on a 19-yard pass just before halftime to give us a 23-0 lead at halftime. We came out in the third quarter, and Socastee put a couple of touchdowns on the board to make it 30-14. And we scored 3 touchdowns due to fumbles in 32 seconds to start the fourth quarter to push it out to a 51-14 lead. And we ran in a fumble recovery at the last 19 seconds of the game from Alex Minner, a junior backup linebacker, to make it 58-21. The Seahawks had 425 yards on the ground. Junior running back, little 5'9", 145-pound Malachi Washington had 33 carries for 258 yards and 5 touchdowns. Cam Ward added 6 carries for 81 yards and a touchdown, too.
You know, you guys have had such a run of talent at quarterback and at wide receiver there in recent years. You were bound to have to kind of rebuild in those areas, so it kind of makes sense for Mickey to shift the offense some and go heavy on the ground game.
He says it's boring, and his coach, the offensive coach, just got a little upset at him for saying that. But if you got to go with what's working. And right now, the offensive line we have is a senior-dominated line, and the two juniors we have on there are big guys. And we were plowing holes through the Socastee defensive front and getting big gains all night long. And Malachi Washington came into the game with 263 yards and 3 touchdowns in 4 games. And he went out with 33 carries for 258 and 5. Really just it's amazing how he runs so fast and so physical as a 145-pound back.
Who do y'all have next week?
We are off next week, and it couldn't come at a better time. This team, after losing to Camden and giving one to Conway, I don't care what Ashley Smith tells you, we turned the ball over 3 times inside our red zone. We gave that one to them. We beat St. James last week, and with this win, we moved to 2-2. We get a break, and we're going to have an opportunity to kind of work on fundamentals and some special teams play and ball security before we play Marion in 2 weeks.
I was at that game, Myrtle Beach and Conway. It was a great football game. I mean, I know you weren't happy with the outcome, but it was, as a spectator, it was exciting to see that game go back and forth, not knowing who was going to end up winning. And, you give Conway credit. They hadn't beaten Myrtle Beach in a long time. It was very exciting for them.
And if one of these Granger boys comes up and stabs me in the heart again, I don't know what I'm going to do. His brother's at Georgia State, and they beat us last year.
Yeah.
And the kid at Conway is a very, very good quarterback. Tough to get down.
Yeah, they have a receiver that impressed me too. I can't remember his name. A tall kid, like number 80 something. I think that was his number. I was impressed by him too. So they've got some good players over there.
Yeah, and the quarterback for Socastee is a converted wide receiver. They lost their quarterback and their running back, and Kadir Scott moved over from wide receiver. He threw 3 touchdown passes tonight, and two of them were beauties, 54-yarder and a 74-yarder. He throws a great ball. If those receivers can start learning to catch the ball, they'll be okay. But they got.
Hey,
Dylan
thank you.
That's
my
pleasure.
tough.
My pleasure, Phil.
Yeah. Thank you, Lane. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's tough to try to get healthy against Dylan. No question about it. All right, let me give you some other final scores that have come in. Then we'll get more from David because a bunch of new scores have rolled in. So we've got Christ Church over Riverside. Final score there, 38-30. We've got Louisville 31, Blacksburg 25. Trinity Collegiate beat Mullins 44-22. Lancaster down Fairfield Central 14-7. From the Death Dome tonight, Latta with another shutout over Lee Central 30-0. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's 3 shutouts on the season for that Doomsday Latta defense. So think about that. Barnwell over OW 33-20. West Ashley beat Berkeley 26-0. Also, it was Mallard Creek beating Gaffney, as I said. Okay, these are games I wanted David to talk about. Mallard Creek beat Gaffney 20-13. Gray Collegiate topped Camden 22-7. Burns down Greer 23-14. Lexington 35. Blythewood 14. It was Pack 44. Coastal Hurricanes nothing. And Greenville High gets its first win big over Malden 70-7 tonight. AC Flora defeats Brooklyn Casey 72-43. Cross 30, Scotts Branch 6, Columbia 30, Great Falls 28, Central 38, Piedmont of North Carolina 21, Somerville 30, Wando nothing, Hammond 37, Lawrence Manning 6, Rock Hill 46, Lower Richland 25, Lakeview 58, Chesterfield 20, Andrews over Hannah Pamplico 32-12. All right, David. I went woo-woo on a couple of those scores when I first saw them, with Gray Collegiate beating Camden and Mallard Creek, which is very good, beating Gaffney. What your thoughts on those?
Yeah, that's a good win for Gray Collegiate because Camden's a really good football team, and Gray's kind of started slow, but they started putting it together last weekend, and they're going to be around in the end. They're going to be in November. They're going to be hard to beat. But a tough loss for Camden, who lost a tough one last week to Hartsville. But again, Camden's going to be okay. With Gaffney, that offense continues to struggle to put up points. They scored 14 last week in a close win over Hammond, 2 touchdowns tonight. Didn't have a great night against South Point. But you got to remember what they lost. A lot of people know that Gaffney's quarterback return, Grayson Loftus, he's a Duke commitment. He's a good player. But they lost 2 1,000-yard running backs. So they're kind of trying to find the running game again. And, they got Fort Dorchester next week. So Gaffney's tough schedule continues.
We've had some really good matchups in the pre-region time of the schedule this year. I'm really impressed with some of the games that these teams are putting together. I mean, they got nothing to lose. They're not region games. And they're giving fans some really good matchups across the state.
Yeah, I mean, I think the top programs like the Dutch Forks, the Spartanburg, the Gaffney, Fort Dorchester, they're playing out-of-state teams. They're playing really good teams. Greenville, who you said a while ago, they played a really good early schedule. And it looks like they took out their frustration a little bit on Malden tonight. Yeah. But, but they're going to be a good team, and they just lost to 3 really good football teams.
What about Westside beating Abbeville tonight? Two really good teams. It looks like Scott Early's got a good club up there. You mentioned on Sports Talk tonight that you thought they had a really good team. They went out and proved it again tonight.
Yeah, that's a good win for them. As good as last week's win was against Teal-Hanna, you know, when you beat the A, you beat a good team. Now, I know they say, well, that's a 2A school, but Abbeville is not like a 2A school. They're pretty dang good. But they denied Jamie Nichols his 200th win tonight. He's got 199 still. So since the Billy Baker curse, they've only been able to get one win. So hopefully next week they can get it.
All right, update college football. It's Louisville and UCF playing down in Orlando. And let's see what happened on this play here. UCF was down deep, threw a ball in the back of the end zone. Looks like it's going to be incomplete. Louisville is winning 20-14 over UCF. This is a much better performance by Louisville than what they gave last week against Syracuse. All right, let me give you some other scores that are coming in. Then we're going to hit the top of the hour break. Teal-Hanna, well, we heard this earlier, 38-28 over Wren. White Knoll 56, Westwood 20. Johnsonville 28, Waccamaw 7, Carvers Bay 28, Georgetown 14, Christchurch 38, Riverside 30, Louisville over Blacksburg 31-25. All right, top of the hour, high school scoreboard brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Back with hour two.
Local in the morning and evening. Columbia's local talk radio experience. 107 The Point. MakeThePointRadio.com. The Point. The Point.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Tasha Stevens. Former President Trump and the Justice Department submit the names of their choices to serve as a court-appointed special master in the review of documents taken from Mar-a-Lago. The Justice Department proposed retired U.S. District Court Judge Barbara Jones and retired U.S. Court of Appeals Judge Thomas Griffin. President Trump's legal team proposed former U.S. District Court Chief Judge Raymond Dearie and Paul Huck Jr. France's president expressing deep sadness over the passing of Queen Elizabeth II in a televised speech.
President Emmanuel Macron remembered the Queen's love for the French nation.
Elizabeth II mastered our language, loved our culture, and touched our hearts.
Whilst he passed his condolences to the people of Britain and the royal family, he acknowledged that the monarch was more than just a Queen of Britain.
To you, she was your queen. To us, she was the queen. To us all, she would be with us forever.
Macron said no other foreign sovereign had visited the French presidential palace more often than Elizabeth, who had known all 8 presidents of contemporary France. I'm Karen Chamas.
Burger King plans to invest $400 million in its U.S. restaurants.
It's happening over the next 2 years to update its stores and boost flagging sales. The burger chain says the investment includes $250 million to revamp stores and update technology and kitchen equipment, and $120 million for heavier advertising. The move comes after several years of disappointing sales at Burger King's 7,058 U.S. stores. Wendy's overtook Burger King as the number 2 U.S. fast food chain by sales in 2020 and held on to that spot last year. Keith Peters reporting.
The outer bands of Tropical Storm K having a positive effect on the heat and fire in Southern California, expected to help firefighters in their work as they battle fires there. More on these stories at townhall.com.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
The Supreme Court temporarily strikes a blow for religious freedom.
The court temporarily blocked a court order that would have forced Yeshiva University to recognize an LGBTQ group as an official campus club. The court acted Friday in a brief order signed by Justice Sonia Sotomayor that indicated the court would have more to say on the topic at some point. The university, an Orthodox Jewish institution in New York, argued that granting recognition to the group YU Pride Alliance would violate its sincere religious beliefs.
Speaking with the United Kingdom's Prime Minister, Liz Truss said that King Charles said the death of Queen Elizabeth was the moment that he and many others had been dreading. The Queen passed away Thursday after more than 7 decades on the throne. Meanwhile, the Queen will be laid to rest next to her late husband, Prince Philip, in the King George VI Memorial Chapel at Windsor. Prince Philip died in April of 2021 at the age of 99. They were married for 73 years. News and analysis at townhall.com.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
When I served in Iraq and Afghanistan, my buddies and I would do anything for each other. That's important whether you're in a firefight or fighting to regain your life. When I came home injured, there are people I can count on, like DAV.
DAV, Disabled American Veterans, stands behind America's veterans to make their transition back home easier with free services and help getting the benefits they've earned. Help us fulfill the promise to our men and women who served. Go to DAV.org to learn more.
Ooh, you shouldn't have pressed that button. Oh. Now you get this.
This is the Founders Federal High School Football Scoreboard on the Sports Talk Media Network. Coming up, scores and reports from across the state and analysis from David Shelton. The Scoreboard is brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Now your host for the High School Scoreboard, Phil Kornblut.
Back with you on Sports Talk, hour number 2. Not Sports Talk, the High School Football Scoreboard, rather. Brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. It is hour number 2 of the High School Football Scoreboard tonight. Phil Kornblut here in Arkansas for South Carolina, Arkansas tomorrow morning here, kicking off at 11 o'clock. David Shelton from the Low Country, and we have our man JP back at our studio in Columbia. JP holding things down for us tonight here on the High School Football Scoreboard. We go to folks out in the fields once again. We love getting the guys on who have been covering games, a lot of action all across the state. And Lou Bajak from the state newspaper and GoGamecocks.com and thestate.com joining us now with the story on Lexington and Blythewood tonight from the Midlands. Lou, it's great to have you with us. Thanks for calling in. Big win for the Wildcats tonight.
Yeah, Bill, it was Lexington won 35-14.
Big offensive night for the Wildcats, obviously.
Yeah, they had Jonah Norris had his second 300-yard game of the season. He had 337 yards, 2 touchdowns. Lexington gained over 500 yards of offense, and they had a big. It was 14-14. And they were facing 4th and 24 from the 25-yard line. And Taden Mines hit Kamadi Maxwell on a 25-yard touchdown pass to give them the lead. And then Norris had a big run, 67-yard run to set up the score. And then he finished it off. He had another touchdown in the fourth quarter. Huge night again. Like I said, 337 yards. Second 300-yard game in the last 3 weeks. So they're 3-1. Lexington is. They got a big one against unbeaten Gilbert next week. Should be a huge crowd and a big rivalry between the two schools.
Absolutely. What do you like about him as a running back? I mean, what's his style? How does he get his yards?
He runs straight ahead. I like the way he does that, and he was able to break off some key long runs. He's not just a 5-yard, 6-yard guy. He can break the big carries. I think he had 2 runs for over 60 yards tonight. He's just tough, and he's running over a couple guys on a few occasions. I just like his grit and toughness. No offers yet. USC had him. He visited USC for the Georgia State game last week.
Coach Woolbright said maybe a walk-on possibility there, but I would think schools are going to have to start. I know Furman has liked him as well. I would think some schools, really the interest is going to start picking up for him. I would think soon if he keeps on the path that he's going on.
Certainly, Lou, you heard about what happened over at Spring Valley tonight. Have you picked up any more details?
Yeah, the statement that the district sent to the parents, and apparently third quarter, about 11 minutes left, and then with 11 minutes left, there's fight that happened on the Spring Valley side. It kind of got out of hand, so they made the decision to they sent the teams back to the locker rooms first of all, and then they just made the decision to just call it a night and just Ridgeview gets the win, but it's a shame. It's not the first time it's happened, just not around here, but around the state. We've seen that happen, and I think it happened at Abbeville Jamboree a few weeks ago. And just it's a shame that these kids work hard, and the people that not playing in that end up causing kids to make things cut short, and then makes you kind of not wanting to go to a football game. I mean, you're there to be entertained and root on your schools, and then something like this happens.
Yeah, you don't want to overreact, but David said earlier in the show we were talking about, he's like, hey, don't let fans in. Just let, teams and family members and, close friends or whatever. But I don't know if we can get that drastic with it. But, I mean, are you hearing any talk among officials, high school league, athletic directors about this becoming more of a concern because it's happening more frequently?
Yeah, I talked to one tonight, and they said, I mean, you just don't. I mean, it is kind of disturbing in that, and kids want to. I mean, just they don't have any regards. And I was at a game a couple weeks ago. And there was no clearing of the stand, but I saw in the stands that these kids were fighting, and they had no regard for the cops, and they're trying to break things up. It's just wild, and I just hate to see that. And I hope it doesn't come down to that. I've been to games when which just no one in the stands because they thought that things were going to break out. So it's a shame. Like I said, it's high school. It's whether it's high school and college level, you don't want to. I mean, you're there to cheer on your team, your school, and something like this kind of puts a sour taste in your mouth.
No question about it. Lou, thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Phil.
All right. Thank you very much. David, what did you think about the report there on Lexington, the running back, 300-plus yards? Again, they're 3-1. I know they've got a good quarterback. Lou's written about that quarterback before and says he's a good-looking kid.
Yeah, I mean, they're a good football team. They were in the top 10, and they lost in week 0 to West Florence by a field goal. I mean, they're not far from being undefeated, and they're going to win a lot of games. And I said in the preseason that and that's a big I and a big F, if somebody's going to beat Dutch Fork in that region, I thought Lexington had the best shot. I'm not calling for it yet, but I thought Lexington. I thought Coach Woolbright has a team that is very capable of winning a lot of games this season.
Have you ever predicted anybody to beat Dutch Fork in the last 10 years?
Well, I mean, if I had, I'd been wrong a lot. But I mean, last year in the state championship, I thought Gaffney had a fighting chance. But I think they're just very good. They execute so well. They're good in all phases. They're just very good.
All right, back to the phones we go. And Doug Holliday, Chapman and Lawrence tonight. Going to get the story from Doug on this one. Doug, welcome into the high school football scoreboard. Great to have you with us tonight.
Thanks, Phil. Another heartbreaker for the Raiders tonight. Lawrence was 0-3. Chapman is 0-3. Somebody was going to get the win tonight. Back and forth game. 7-0 Lawrence and 7-7. Teams traded touchdowns. Lawrence never had more than a one-score lead. Late in the second quarter, Lawrence quarterback James Raw got beat up a little bit tonight. He had to go out in the second quarter. They bring in Nick Fowler, the backup quarterback, and it was shades of Eric Kimry. One pass, a fade to the corner of the end zone, and a touchdown. The Raiders had a 14-7 halftime lead. Chapman scored to tie it at 14. Raiders went up 21-14, and Chapman tied it with about 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Neither team could do anything the rest of the way. We go to overtime. Chapman wins the toss, forces the Raiders to go on offense. They wind up having to try a 27-yard field goal, which just took out the right upright. And then Chapman got the ball, ran a few plays into the line, and Jackson Visery, their outstanding kicker, came on, 24-yard field goal, and they win it 24-21. Sean Cunningham, outstanding receiver, had a couple of touchdowns. A guy who wasn't listed in our depth charts, running back named Alvin Lewis, had a touchdown, had a really good night. For the Raiders, Jay Pulley, 7 catches, 120 yards, and a touchdown. A good back and forth, entertaining football game. You got your money's worth if you came out tonight, but again, just another heartbreaker for the Raiders, still looking for their first win of the season.
Wow. Hard to believe that they're still looking for win number 1, but, sometimes the things don't fall your way. But, you got a chance to learn from all this and get yourself together in time for region play. What's up next week?
Union County at home.
All right, another big one. Doug, thank you. We'll look for you next week.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you very much. All right, Doug Holliday from Lawrence, WLBG, one of our great affiliates there in that part of South Carolina. It's Lawrence had such a good year last year, David, and this year the chips kind of just aren't falling their way. It happens every other year. It could go against you.
Are you there?
Yeah, we got you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Lawrence is one of those towns that they got to replace guys. They lost some really good players. They lost a really good running back, and they played a tough schedule. They just can't seem to put it together. But I say that to say this, in November, if they make the playoffs, they could be a dangerous team. They're going to get better as they go. They just had some tough luck. Just haven't put it all together yet.
All right, let's get the story on the Conway win tonight. Conway over North Myrtle Beach. So they've beaten Myrtle Beach, and now they've beaten North Myrtle Beach. Kind of an up-and-down season so far for the Tigers. Ashley Smith, the voice of the Conway Tigers, joining us here on the high school football scoreboard. Hello, Ashley.
Hey, how are you doing? Hey, who did you say that Conway beat that first time?
The Myrtle Beach.
Oh, Myrtle Beach. Okay. Yeah, they did beat Myrtle Beach, and tonight they beat North Myrtle Beach. I understand there was another sportscaster that, gifted a win to the Conway Tigers, and we do appreciate that. So the Conway Tigers, they beat North Myrtle Beach, and there were some mistakes made, but I'm not going to get into that.
I'm so happy that you guys y'all pay such close attention to what other guys report here. That's great, but go ahead.
Well, I was getting phone calls that said I need to call in, so I just want to call in and tell you about the Conway Tigers tonight.
Yeah.
So a big win for Conway, 33-13 against North Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, give us some of the details.
Yeah, I was hearing some background noise, but that's fine. Devin Granger, just absolutely dynamic tonight. Quarterback, he's a real deal. Junior, need to look at him. His brother, of course, is Darren Granger, quarterback of Georgia State University. So the family bloodlines are thick. So the Tigers, they rushed the ball well. North Myrtle Beach came in with a big win last week against West Brunswick. Conway was on all cylinders, defensively, offensively, special teams. The best game they played last week, they got upset by Ashley Ridge. But this week the Tigers played good. Next week they go to Loris. So we'll see what happens. But the Tigers come through tonight, and they weren't given a win tonight. They actually earned one. So it's,
Oh, yeah. Listen, I was at the game when you guys beat Myrtle Beach. That was a heck of a game. It went back and forth, and I was really impressed with Granger. And you have a tall receiver. I think he wears like number 80.
Number 8 is Aiden Brantley.
That's it.
That's it. Mm-hmm. Cameron Austin, number 1. Daryl Grant. We have some receivers that look like college receivers. The receiver coach is Junior Hemingway. He played with Kansas City Chiefs, a big frame kid. And they play like him. They're real physical, Anquan Bolden type receivers. So, yeah, we call them 50-50 balls, but with our guys, they're 70-30 balls.
Yeah, with that height, it certainly helps. Ashley, thank you so much, and keep in touch. Call us next week. Want to hear from you every week.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. All right, Ashley Smith, the voice of the Conway Tigers. They get a win tonight. What about Conway, David? I've said a couple of times I saw him play Myrtle Beach. I was impressed. Both of those teams kind of went up and down the field at various times. Conway had a nice lead in that game. Myrtle Beach came back, and Conway won it at the end. But you've heard multiple people say this Granger kid, the quarterback there, is someone to keep an eye on.
Oh yeah, he's a good player. They're kind of weird. They beat Myrtle Beach, and first time in forever, and then they go to Ashley Ridge last week and lay an egg. They don't win. They don't play well. So they're just kind of trying to put it together. They're not a state title contender, but that quarterback is a legitimate player. I've seen some film on him, and he's a legitimate quarterback.
Yeah, and the receiver's good too, like I mentioned.
He's a better thrower than the boy at Georgia State, his brother. He's a little bigger, a little built differently, but he's a good runner, but he's a better thrower.
All right. Thanks for that report, Ashley. We're going to hit the break here on the high school football scoreboard. We'll come back with more reports on games across the state, then a complete scoreboard recap. And David will comment more on some of the final scores tonight. And also, of course, as we do on Friday nights with David coming up, we'll let him talk a little bit about One Team, One Cause, because I know he was on the road this week talking to high schoolers in South Carolina about a very important topic. That'll be coming up as well. We're back in a moment.
Founders Federal Credit Union knows your life is busy and your money is important. We are proud to offer local personalized services and convenient online services like Founders Online and the Founders app. You'll love being with us as much as we love serving you. Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our 37 convenient locations to see if you qualify for membership with Founders. Relax, win with Founders. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
If you're looking to stay hydrated this summer, turn toward a southern favorite, sweet South Carolina watermelons. One slice is equivalent to a glass of water and is just as effective as sports drinks for hydration. If you don't believe us, you can ask the Palmetto State's top football teams. The SC Watermelon Association will be serving up slices after summer practice to keep our teams fueled and hydrated. Visit scwatermelon.org for all the details and look for ripe South Carolina watermelons in your hometown.
Parents ask, what's the best way to save for college? I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus, and my answer is always open a Future Scholar 529 college savings account. It's easy. You can get started online with any amount. It's flexible to adapt to your child's college dreams, and you can deduct 100% of your contributions from the South Carolina state tax return. So what are you waiting for? Go to futurescholar.com and see why it's the smart, easy way to save for college. futurescholar.com.
All right, we continue here on the high school football scoreboard brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. And let's get a couple more reports out over the air here tonight as we continue jumping from one part of the state to the other. Let's go to Chris Kelly, who was on the call tonight in Charleston, James Island, and Bishop England. Chris, great to have you with us. Tell us about this one.
All right, Phil. Thanks for having me. James Island is having an outstanding season. They're up to probably the best start in their football history. They're 4-0 after tonight's win over Bishop England. The final was 23-0, but it got started pretty quick. BE gave up the ball on their first series, turning it over, and James Island got it on the BE 28. A few plays later, Montre Scott with 15 yards on a rushing play for a touchdown, point after good, 9:33 mark, first quarter, 7-0 James Island. Bishop England would give up the ball on their next series. Again, they punted away. It was a bad punt, and James Island got the ball on the 41 of Bishop England. On a first down play, senior quarterback Lehman Nixon hit Jaden Ravenel on a 41-yard touchdown pass. The point after good, 14-0 James Island, and that was the score after the first quarter of play. The only other score that came in the first half, Phil, was a 34-yard field goal by sophomore kicker Gray Dangerfield. The drive that James Island had on the BE 42-yard line stalled, but the young kicker was able to nail a 34-yarder. That was the score at halftime. In the second half, only one score by James Island. They get into the end zone again, a 42-yard run by Montre Scott. The point after failed, 23-0 though your final. James Island under head coach Jamar McCoy, as I mentioned, off to their best start in their football history, 4-0, and they go to Cane Bay next week.
Chris, thank you so much, man. Great call on that. We really appreciate it. David, what about the Trojans, man? Where they're coming from?
Well, you know, this is Jamar's third year there. Granted, they I took a little heat. I take a little heat down here for saying this, but you know, they haven't played a killer schedule. But what they're doing is they're building a lot of confidence. Next week will be a challenge for them. That Cane Bay will easily be the best team they played. And they're going to have May River down the road in region play, and they're going to have to play Lucy Beckham. So, I mean, they do have some games coming up that are going to be, you know, they're going to have to really play. But what they did tonight and what they've done all year is they're really good on special teams. Punting, kicking, kickoff, kick return, punt return, really good on special teams, really good on defense, and they were rolling on offense, but they lost their quarterback last week. Chris told us about Scott that got hurt. But Liam Nixon is a guy that has been in the program. He's a good backup. He's a senior. They feel very comfortable with him. He threw, as you heard, he threw a touchdown pass tonight. So, you know, I think if they go next week and they beat Cane Bay on the road to get to 5-0, I really believe they got a shot to run the table in the region and be undefeated going into playoffs, which would be just a great accomplishment. You know, they've only given up 6 points. They gave up a touchdown last week to First Baptist, but they shut out Stall. They shut out St. John's, and then they get the shutout tonight. Again, you know, a 1A school, a very struggling 5A school, Skeezer school, and a 2A school. So, you know, you look at their schedule and go, okay, they should be 4-0, and they are. Next week will be the big test for them. And you know, Cane Bay hasn't been great on offense, even though they should be. So, you know, James Allen's got a shot to be 5-0.
Yeah, listen, all you got to do is get guys to believe. And however you can get them to believe, that's a big step. No question about it. Let's go to Chris.
Jamar McCoy will get you to believe. He's an inspirational kind of guy. Really, he's a great guy. And he gets them fired up, and he doesn't mind telling anybody. You know, we asked him in the preseason, you know, what do you think about the region with May River and now that Beaufort's on? And he came right out. Hey, the region title runs through James Island this year. So, you know, you get a guy that says that, you gotta go play hard for him, right?
Absolutely. All right, let's go to Chris Deering, who has the task of writing about one of the highest scoring games of the night tonight. It was in the Midlands, and it was AC Flora, Brooklyn Casey. They only combined for 115 points. Falcons win at 72-43. So, you know, I don't want to hear you say AC Flora won the toss and elected to receive. Sum it up for us.
So I need to give a score recap of every score of the game.
Yeah, we'll be here till Thursday.
Yeah, at least I'll take you to the end of the show.
You could. But what's the sum it up for us? Obviously, AC Flora, their offense must have been unstoppable tonight.
Well, I'll tell you, Carew Bates, the quarterback for AC Flora, was really good tonight. He was 11 of 12 for 179 yards and 5 touchdowns, and he ran for another one. The Markel Townsend, a really good running back for AC Flora, he ran for 193 and 3 touchdowns. So that was really the offensive stars there for AC Flora. Brooklyn Casey, Brooklyn Casey, they had a good running back too, Deshaun Washington. He ran for about 180 and 3 touchdowns himself. So just an offensive explosion tonight by both teams. I sort of expected that going into this one. Didn't quite expect 72-43, but I expected a lot of points, and they didn't disappoint.
Well, both defenses, I guess, kind of took the night off. AC Flora, with their new coaching regime there, I mean, they've picked it right up where they've been the last few years. They look strong again, especially on offense.
Yeah, Ken Floyd, he's taken over at AC Flora for Dustin Curtis, and they haven't really missed a beat, I don't believe, especially, like you said, offensively. They've been good in all 3 games so far. I don't think they scored less than 38 in their 3 games. And this is the second time over 50. So they're pretty good offensively. They got to tighten some things up on the defensive side of the ball. They're good up front defensively, but linebackers and secondary, they got to get a little bit better, I think. So I think by the time they get to region play, they will have it sort of figured out a little bit better on defense. And that's going to be a team in the 4A ranks because it'll be hard to stop them, I think, when they get there. Because, like I said, Markel Townsend, he gets behind. They got a really big offensive line, and, man, he gets behind that offensive line, and you can't really see him. And next thing you know, he's 8, 10, 12 yards down the field.
Hey, Chris, as always, we appreciate you very much for calling us tonight with the report. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, sounds good. Y'all have a great weekend.
Thank you. Give you a couple of other finals here before the break. It was Holly Hill Academy 28, Faith Christian 8, and Branchville 42, Williston Elko 36.
Roxanne Watson is on a mission.
Hello, how are you doing today?
She wants more people to register as organ, eye, and tissue donors.
Are you an organ donor? Yes, I am. Yay! My goal is to sign up the most people in the United States.
What drives her? Roxanne's own life was saved through the gift of a heart transplant, made possible by an organ donor.
I decided that day that I was going to devote myself to the cause of organ donation and signing people up and honoring my donor by doing that.
Now she's back to health, and she's a powerful force helping to save lives every day through her work. Imagine what you can make possible by leaving behind the gift of life.
8 people can be helped with the major organs, and up to 50 people can be helped with a little bit of everything. And when you think about it that way, that you could help that many people, it's amazing. It really is.
Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
Hey, it's Phil Kornblut of Sports Talk, and we love what we do. Football, basketball, baseball, NASCAR, golf, recruiting. We're all over it every night at 6 right here on The Point. But as much as we love hearing ourselves talk, we want your opinions as well. Sometimes we'll agree, sometimes not. There'll never be a dull moment. Throw in the best interviews in the state, and you've got South Carolina's #1 sports talk show coming at you every night at 6 right here on The Point, Columbia's local talk radio experience.
Hi, this is Jennifer Coolidge. The American Heart Association says the disco song Stayin' Alive is the near-perfect beat for hands-only CPR. If you see a teen or adult collapse from cardiac arrest, you only need 2 steps to help save a life. Call 911 and push hard and fast in the center of the chest to the beat of the song Stayin' Alive. Disco is back and it's saving lives. To learn more, go to heart.org/hands-only-CPR.
Nationally supported by the Wellpoint Foundation. I've been talking about the people at Stone Interiors from the very beginning. They did the incredible granite counters, the beautiful granite tabletop in my home. Our kitchen is our focal point of our house. The countertops are just gorgeous. When I talk about a local company with tremendous ethics, great workmanship, someone who sees a project through from start to finish, I'm describing Stone Interiors. So have you thought about some granite or marble countertops? What about a backsplash in your kitchen? You want to retile that bathroom? Did you know you can actually go online to stoneinteriors.com, go through their visualizer software, and design your whole kitchen, your whole bathroom project? It is so cool. If that's not for you and you want to visit their showroom, they'd love to have you come out and visit at Stone Interiors, or they can even come to you when it's convenient. For more than 20 years, Stone Interiors has done this thing the right way. Call them, 461-8950 to make an appointment, or visit them at stoneinteriors.com. That's 461-8950 or stoneinteriors.com.
Have you fallen behind on your taxes and might be facing IRS penalties?
Have wage garnishments, levies or liens? Have unfiled tax returns? You want someone local and qualified. Don't fall for those national spots. Meet with me, Teresa, at Capital City Professional Services, and let me help you through your tax maze. I can help with all your tax resolution issues. There are options to get you back on track. Call Capital City Professional Services, 400-8683. That's 400-8683.
Fran Halloran here. Now listen closely to what I'm about to say. I'm a business owner, and many of you listening right now, you're business owners as well. The first rule in owning a business is this: don't waste money. I see business owners waste their marketing dollars all the time. Not me. I figured out a long time ago, 8 years ago to be exact, that spending my marketing dollars at the point was not only intentional, but extremely profitable as well. If you're a small business owner, you owe it to yourself to sit down with Kevin Cohen and ask him to create a custom marketing plan for your business. He's looking for folks just like you who believe in local to partner with him in 2022 and beyond. Trust me when I tell you, partnering with The Point works. You will see results and your marketing budget will no longer be wasted. Give Kev a call at 803-563-8558 and tell him the Money Coach sent you.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
All right, back to the high school football scoreboard. Final half hour of the show tonight. We thank you for being with us wherever you've been tuned in across the state of South Carolina. Phil Kornblut and David Shelton and J.P. Barry back at our studios in Columbia. And let me go through the scores, and then we'll turn things over to David for a couple of minutes here on the high school football scoreboard, as he'll have some important things to share with you coming up here in just a moment. I'm in the process of still plotting some final scores here, as I have to track down the scores from various reporting agencies. So here's what we've got in the Upstate tonight. Wade Hampton over Berea 56-0. Louisville 31, Blacksburg 25. Oh, you know what? Before I do this, my apologies. Dennis Brunson has been on hold, and I want to go to Dennis, and get the report on Manning and Lake Marion tonight. Tonight was the first night that the transfer defensive end, Montague Rames, was eligible to play for Manning after transferring from Sumter. And Dennis, you were there to watch it, but it was Lake Marion that got the W.
Yeah, Lake Marion came out and played really well, Phil. Got a quarterback named Navion Hilliard, and he was on the money tonight. 15 of 21 for 209 yards and 3 touchdowns. And they scored on each of their first 3 possessions. And then they scored late in the fourth quarter to put the game away. It was 20-13 at the half and ended up being 27-13. But Navion was very, very sharp tonight. Coach said he's worked really hard. Coach Jarvis said he's worked really hard and made himself into a very good quarterback in his senior year. And he was on the money. I mean, there were very few that were off target tonight. Most everything was where it needed to be, and it was stuff across the middle, stuff in the flats, and he went deep a couple times as well. I mean, just a good, well-rounded quarterback.
Did it surprise you the way he played? Was this unexpected?
Well, I didn't know a lot about him, Phil, to tell you the honest goodness truth. And Coach said he's really he really played well tonight, but he's been very consistent and good for him all year. That he worked really hard in the off season to prepare himself for this season, and he just hopes that he's going to get the opportunity to play at the collegiate level. If he plays like he did tonight every other game, I think someone will be happy to use a scholarship on him. I mean, he's really nice tonight. Threw to a wide receiver named Javion Jameson, and he had 6 catches for 119 yards. And Manning adjusted and slowed him down after that, but Manning just couldn't get anything. They couldn't come all the way back. Let's put it that way. They got it in 2013, obviously. Quarterback Justin Daniels ran for 125 yards on 20 carries and scored both of their touchdowns. And early in the fourth quarter, he cramped up and he didn't play the rest of the ball game. And it hurt him on the last 2 possessions that he wasn't on the field. It hurt. No knock on anybody else, but his legs in particular are outstanding. He can make people miss and gobble up a lot of yardage quick.
Dennis, we thank you so much for the report. Always appreciate hearing from you. We'll look for you next week.
Hey, Phil.
Yes.
Just Raines, I think by my eagle eye tracking, he had 4 tackles and a pressure tonight. They really ran away from him a lot. No sacks, but he looked like he was in pretty good shape. Coach Reggie Kennedy said he'd been conditioning and weightlifting, but he didn't practice with the team until Wednesday after he won the appeal from the high school league. So, and he said he didn't feel like he played his best, but he said it'll get better. And I know Reggie's happy to have him out there lining up at the defensive end for him.
I'm sure he is, man. I mean, that's like manna from heaven to have somebody like that fall into your arms, right?
Yeah. Reggie's when it first happened, we were talking, and he was quite happy about it, and just hoping that the opportunity would come for him to play, and I say, and fortunately, it did for him. And Montague, my dealings with him is very good young man. So I hope he does well the rest of the season for him.
Dennis, thanks much. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, Phil.
Thank you, man. Always appreciate the report. All right, Dennis Brunson with the story there of the Lake Marion victory. Going to go back over the scores real quick. David, the Fort Dorchester game, was that scheduled all the way for tomorrow, or was it postponed tonight because of the weather?
No, it was scheduled for Saturday.
Oh, it was scheduled for Saturday to begin with. Okay.
Yeah.
I see it's being played Saturday, and I see another game has been pushed to Saturday down there, and that is the St. John's Woodland game been pushed to Saturday. Yeah. You going to that Fort D game tomorrow?
I don't know. It depends on. I don't know. I might. I don't think I'll be covering it, but I may go to watch because it might be fun.
Well, who is this Clearwater, Florida team? Are they a big team out of Florida?
I have no idea. They're a private school. I think it's called Clearwater International Christian School or something like that. But I think they're pretty good because I don't think LaPrade would schedule a team from Florida if they weren't a very competitive team. He's all about trying to get good opponents.
Yeah. All right. Let me do what I was going to do a moment ago, and that is go over the final scores that we have. So let's start from the beginning, as they say, once again. In the Upstate, Wade Hampton 56, Berea nothing, Louisville 31, Blacksburg 25, Eastside 37, Blue Ridge 20, Hillcrest 48, Boiling Springs nothing, Union County 32, Broome 27, Burns 23, Greer 14, Carolina 20, Fountain Inn 7, Catawba Ridge 45, West Cabarrus of North Carolina nothing, South Point 33, Chester 21, Daniel 38, Hart County, Georgia 17, Easley 21, Man 14, Saluda 21, Emerald 14, Mallard Creek, North Carolina over Gaffney 20-13. Grayson of Georgia beat Spartanburg 51-24. David, Spartan High needs to stay out of the state of Georgia this year. They're too good for them.
Well, and the state of South Carolina needs to stay away from Grayson because that's back-to-back weeks they've beaten Fort Dorchester and Spartanburg.
Yeah, Grayson's power, man. That's a power program. Columbia over Great Falls, 30-27. 28. Indianland 34, Fort Mill nothing. Lancaster 14, Fairfield Central 7, Chapman 24, Lawrence 21, Liberty 22. Liberty 16, Dixie 7. Let's see, I lost my place here. Here we go. Greenville 70, Malden 7, Northwestern 61, Nation Ford 22, Polk County of North Carolina 49, Landrum 7, Powdersville 49, Pendleton 10, Christchurch 38, Riverside 30, Rock Hill 46, Lower Richland 25, RS Central of North Carolina 27, Chesney 20, St. Joseph's 45, Seneca 35, Walhalla 50, Southside 25, Ware Shoals 30, West Oak nothing, Westside 31, Abbeville 20, Woodmont 49, Travelers Rest 29, Belton Honeypath 34, Woodruff 27, T.L. Hanna 38, Wren 28, and Clover 28, York 24. To the Midland scoreboard, Clinton 49, Aiken 13, Lugoff Elgin 23, Airport 15, Bamberg Earhart 28, Blackville Hilda 20, Branchville 42, Williston Elko 36, AC Flora 72, Brooklyn Casey 43, Wade Hampton of Hampton 24, C.A. Johnson 16, Gray Collegiate 22, Camden 7, Chapin 38, Newberry nothing, Sumter 21, Crestwood 14, West Florence 47, Drew 7, Whitmire 34, Eau Claire 24, Gilbert 53, Pillion 3. Remember we talked about that one, David, on Sports Talk. 2 unbeatens, but you were wondering about the quality of Pillion's record to this point. Gilbert proved to be much better.
Yeah, I had a feeling this was going to be the game that Pillion would find a little tougher sledding.
Yeah, certainly they did. Hunter Connor Tyler 44, Military Magnet 16, Lexington 35, Blythewood 14, 96 28, Mid Carolina 19, Greenwood 21, North Augusta 14, Keenan 58, North Central 28, Barnwell 33, Orangeburg Wilkinson 20, River Bluff 35, South Aiken 28, Ridgeview 27, Spring Valley nothing. That game was called in the third quarter because of disruptive idiots in the stands. And idiots is being kind, I would say. Swansea 34, Wagner Sally 30, White Knoll 56, Westwood 20, PD Grand Strand, Aner 54, Lakewood 28, Carvers Bay 28, Georgetown 14, Central 38, Piedmont of North Carolina 21, Cheraw 7, Darlington 6, Lakeview 58, Chesterfield 20, Conway 33, North Myrtle 13, Kingstree 32, Greensea Floyd's 8, Andrews 32, Hanapamplico 12, Dillon 59, Hartsville 35, Marion 62, Hemingway nothing, St. James 20, Lake City 13, Andrew Jackson 26, Lamar 14, Latta in the Death Dome with the Doomsday defense shuts out Lee Central 30-0. David, you ever seen a defense like Latta throws on the field this year?
No, not in 35 years of covering high school football. I don't think I've ever seen that.
There you go. That's what I like to hear. Lake Marion 27, Manning 13, Oceanside Collegiate 20, Marlboro County nothing, McBee 46, East Clarendon 14, Trinity Collegiate 44, Mullins 22, Myrtle Beach 58, Socastee 21, South Florence 49, Carolina Forest 14, Johnsonville 28, Waccamaw 7, and Wilson 43, Hilton Head 7. Low Country, Academic Magnet 35, Bethune-Bowman 30. Baptist Hill gets a 2-0 forfeit win over Whale Branch. Don't know what the reason is, but that's what they got. Savannah Christian of Georgia 49, Battery Creek 6, Buford 6-0 over Goose Creek. Calhoun County 42, Burke 14, Ashley Ridge 60, Colleton County 12. Cross 30, Scotts Branch 6, Estill 28, Edisto nothing. James Island 23, Bishop England nothing. Hanahan 10, Lucy Beckham 6, Philip Simmons 31, Timberland 12, May River 43, Ridgeland Hardyville nothing. North Charleston 20, Stall 12, Dutch Fork 64, Stratford 21, Somerville 30, Wando nothing, and West Ashley 26, Berkeley nothing. And Esquiza, Cardinal Newman 48, Northwood Academy nothing. Bethesda, is this right? Bethesda Academy 91, Carolina Academy 2. JP, is that right? I didn't put that score in there. Yeah, 91-2. David, any thoughts on that?
Oh, I don't know if that's right.
We better double check that one. Don't hold us.
Yeah.
Don't hold us to that one. 91-2.
They deleted the tweet.
We shall
okay.
We shall delete the score then.
Yeah.
All right, JP. JP has to learn on the job here. Pack over Coastal Hurricanes 44-0. I've got Colleton Prep beating Cross Schools 3-0. I saw that on the Channel 5 website, so thinking that's correct. Lee Academy 63, Dillon Christian 24. We've got Florence Christian over Orangeburg. I beg your pardon? What was it? No, it's not. It's not. And go back and fix the scoreboard because you deleted one of the teams I was about to give the score. The team that Faith Christian was playing. Go back and fix that. Florence Christian over Orangeburg Prep, 41-19. Hammond, 37. Lawrence Manning, 6. Heathwood Hall, 30. Porter Goud, 14. Hilton Head Christian, 15. Ben Lippin, 9. Northside Christian, 21. New Hope, nothing. Calhoun Academy, 22. Patrick Henry, 8. PD Academy, 48, Conway Christian 14, and Thomas Hayward over St. John's Christian 20-15. All right, there you go with the scores we have in. Let's hit the break, and then a few minutes with David Shelton. One team, one cause. That's where his heart and his soul is. I mean, he loves his high school football, and he loves his following the kids and the games, but his heart and his soul is in one team, one cause. And you'll find out what he's been up to this week, because David's mission is extremely, extremely important. He'll talk about it after the break.
Score a touchdown with Founders Federal Credit Union. With services like Founders Online and the Founders app, you'll enjoy all the perks of a big bank with local personalized service. Not a member? Joining Founders Federal Credit Union is easy. Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our 37 convenient locations to see if you qualify for membership. Relax with Founders. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. Whether you're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at experiencecolumbiasc.com.
We understand how important it is to have transportation you can rely on. So no matter what the road ahead brings, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at scfbins.com.
In Irmo, call me, Alex Satterfield, at 803-749-9171.
All right, final minutes of the high school football scoreboard brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union on this Friday night. Phil Kornblut way over here in Arkansas. J.P. Barry in Columbia and David Shelton in Low Country. Okay, David, One team, one cause for this week. I know you were out and about talking to people once again. How'd you feel about the people you reached out to this week?
Yeah, I was able to go to Ridge Spring Monetta. A good buddy Brian Smith is the head coach there, and was able to go speak to his football team. They had a bye week this week, so they had a light practice, and I think I went on Wednesday, and it was very special. It was my brother, who lives part-time in Austin and part-time in North Augusta, or in Augusta. He and his wife were able to come and listen to my speech for the first time. So it was very special to have them there. And but just a great group of kids, very attentive, and I was able to just pitch my story about the dangers of drug addiction and drug use and starting young. And for those that don't know, I've lost 2 sons to overdoses. And the most recent came in January. My youngest son, Justin, overdosed, and I've just kind of made it a mission. I think I went over 30 speeches with Rich Springman. I think I'm about 31. I got Bishop England coming up next week, and then I've got the entire student body at First Baptist School in October, and I'm speaking to a teachers group in October. But I just encourage people, coaches, principals, administrators. I will go anywhere. I did not get a dime for going all the way to Rich Spring Monetta to speak to 26 people. That's how important it was to me. And, like I said, they were very attentive. And, I got to believe that there are coaches and administrators in this state that have 45 minutes of time they can give me just to try to make the kids understand that in today's world, it's getting really bad. The fentanyl is going crazy. Kids are dying. Every 7 minutes, somebody dies of an overdose in America. And we had over 100,000 deaths last year, and we're going to top that in 2022. And right here in my area in Charleston, we're seeing an uptick. But like I said, I will go anywhere. Horry County, Rock Hill, Greenville, Spartanburg. I've had a couple of coaches reach out to me recently through my Twitter, and people can message me on Twitter at @dshelton66 or visit my website oneteamonecause.com. There's an email section there or a phone number that you can call or text, and then let's just set something up. I've yet to turn down a speaking engagement, so the odds of getting me are pretty good. If you've got a date for me, I'll be there.
Do you find that the players lock in with you?
I tell you, that is one thing that I told Brian, and it's been that way everywhere, but I'm telling you, I was in a classroom on Wednesday, so 26 kids and sitting in desks. We had class. We had a 45-minute class, and I just felt like, scanning the room, I felt like they were listening to every word I said. And I appreciate that. And I tell them, I appreciate you listening now, but I want you to remember what I said, a couple of years from now or tomorrow or the next time you go to a party and you get offered the opportunity. I want you to think about that old sports writer guy that came and talked to us. And I asked my brother, because he was there watching, and he was like, dude, they were hanging on your every word. And a couple of them came up and spoke to me afterwards. And it's like we've said before, I'm just trying to affect one mind that I can, I can't win this battle until you win the first one. And you have to keep on. And the whole concept behind One Team, One Cause is that all these kids, all these schools, we're all on the same team. We're trying to beat the crap out of each other every Friday night, but we're on the same team when it comes to life. And we have to band together for the cause. And the cause is prevent drug use, which prevents drug addiction. You cannot get addicted to drugs if you never try them. And that's my point that I make to these kids.
Have you had any parents directly reach out to you to say, I need your help?
Yes. I've had a couple of parents contact me after I've spoken to their school, and their kid come home and said, oh my God, this guy talked today, and I want to tell you how much I love you, Mom, because that's a big part of my speech is I'm brokenhearted having lost 2 kids, and I don't want these kids' parents to go through the pain that I go through on a daily basis. I survive, and I have a new mission and a new calling, and this is my why, so that keeps me going. But, a parent that loses a child, they never get over it. It's never going to go away. And so I had a parent or 2 that have contacted me and said, my kid came home and gave me a hug and said he loved me, because that's part of my speech. Go home, tell your parents you love them, because you may not be able to tell them one day. And there's a whole story between me and my son and our last conversation we had and how impactful it was. And really the last conversation I had with my son while he was alive is the reason I'm doing what I'm doing, because it just left a major impact on me that night.
That tells me right there, David, you're getting through. You're making progress.
Yeah, I think I am. Sometimes I get a little frustrated, not at the kids that I'm speaking to, but I'm just, that more people aren't calling me and wanting me there. And, I see these other groups or people going to speak at high schools and talk about love or talk about, job enhancement or planning your future. Well, I'm maybe I'm a little partial with it. I think my speech and my idea is pretty important to the future as well. So,
absolutely.
But I'm going to keep going. And, if I do one a week, I'm happy. I'm just going to keep going. And I got some things planned. My one team, one called Football Jamboree. I put it out there yesterday, and I've had several schools call about wanting to come and play next year.
Thank you, man.
Weekdays
we have
from
got
7
to
to
go.
9
Thank
on
you,
the point.
David.
It's Kev
Thank you,
and
JP.
Brian in the
See you
morning.
next
The
week,
news,
everybody.
the traffic 4 times an hour, and your daily forecast. Topics to wake you up, topics to make you smile and laugh. Hope you'll join us.
The Point. WQXL Columbia,
Yes, sir.
W264 DM.